Hello, Bronco fans and football fans everywhere. Welcome to Broncos Breakdown on the MHRT Network and my show, Broncos Breakdown, on YouTube. This is a show that is everything Broncos and brought to you with emotion, passion, honesty, and of course, my comments along with yours in the chat. I am your host, Bronco Bill. All right, guys. Got a whole lot of different directions to go. I have a very, very disturbing jackass of the week. I'm going to bring it, but I'm also going to bring a disclaimer about it. Just for those of you who may be sensitive to the topic. Anyways, we'll get into that. I think that one's the fourth topic. So brace yourself for that, guys. Okay. G Money 88 batting leadoff in the chat says, "What's up, Bronco Bill? Really looking forward to today's show. It's been a crappy week, so I'm ready for a weekend. Hope all is well with you and your family. God bless." Thank you so much, G Money. Really do appreciate it. Really do. Thank you so much for saying that. It means a lot, man. Yeah, it's been a tough week here too. I'm not going to get into any personal details, but it's been a tough week. But we'll get through it. So what's up with your crappy week there, G Money 88? If you don't mind me asking. I think a whole lot of people are ready for the weekend. It's Memorial Day weekend. Memorial Day being Monday. So I do want to just remember, have everybody out there, please remember those men and women, servicemen, police officers, firefighters, first responders, whatever, that have passed away, whether they be in their job, they were retired, whatever, but they did serve a great service to this country, to whatever state and community and city you live in. Just please remember Memorial Day and for what it means and what it stands for. I know a lot of people go to picnics and the beach and the parties and all that kind of stuff, and they kind of forget what it's all about. But what it's all about is the men and women who served and gave their ultimate sacrifice, their own life, so this country can stay free, protected, and just served by those I mentioned: police force, military, hospitals, ambulance, everybody that is part of helping lives, saving lives. Let's just tip our hat right now to each and every one of them. Thank you so very, very much for what you did and what you sacrificed for this country. Memorial Day, remember what it stands for. All right? Have fun. Enjoy your time. But remember what it stands for. All right, guys. All right, enough of that. I do want to say, thanks to everybody out there that has served. Okay, so my brother-in-law from Las Vegas, Rudy Torres, says, "Please, I have asthma." What the fudge is that? Asthma, man. Hey, just want to say, Rudy, thank you so much for your service as well. He's retired Navy. Just want to thank you, man. Mark from Georgia says, "Bill, good to see you." Mark, good to see you in the chat. Not you personally, but hey, nice to see you that you're there, man. Really do appreciate it. Mark also follows up by saying, "Absolutely, they deserve it and their dedication, 100%, absolutely." Rudy follows up by me saying, "Thank you for your service." He says, "Thank you, sir. It's greatly appreciated." From SA Rudy Torres, USN. All right, way to go, Rudy. Glad you threw that out there. Really, really do appreciate it. All right, guys, like I mentioned, I have a very dramatic, I would say dramatic jackass of the week. We'll get into that in a bit. But first off, we have a passing of an NFL legend. Now, it's not a Denver Bronco legend. It's a rival Bronco opponent. Doesn't matter. This guy was instrumental. For any of you out there who remember the games, the NFL games played in the 70s and 80s, you'll remember this guy. Or maybe it was the 60s and 70s. I don't remember. But I do remember him very well. Here it is. Retired and Hall of Fame Raiders center number 00, the only one in the NFL that could ever wear 00. And even to this day, I don't think they can. Jim Otto passed away at the age of 86 last Sunday. Jim Otto played in, this is remarkable. He was a center. I mean, you're constantly have your head bent down. You got to come up. You got to block the guy across from you. You got to call out the offensive line blocking schemes. You got a lot of responsibilities. Listen to this. Jim Otto played in 210 straight games, which included 12 AFL All-Star / Pro Bowl selections and 10 All-Pro nods. Now, let me interject this. Back in those days, they only played 12 games and then they advanced to 14. They didn't have 16 and 17 like they have now. They had 12 and 4. That means he had years that he played in the NFL because they had only 12 games or 14 games. I continue. The Raiders released a lengthy statement which had this to say as well. Quote, Jim was the most honored offensive lineman in the history of the NFL. I would agree with that. Absolutely agree with that. I know he's a Raider, but hey, you got to pay homage and respect to other players of other teams. When they're great, they're great. Doesn't matter who they play for. I continue. I'm still quoting. But stats are just a measure of accomplishment, not really the measure of a man. Jim Otto was a great NFL player and a great man, end quote. I would agree. I would agree. Watching Jim Otto and the Raiders in those days, and I remember that as a kid, I would watch him and go, my gosh, this guy's phenomenal. This guy's fantastic. Now, my dad really liked the Raiders back in the day because he liked Jim Plunkett. He liked Kenny Stabler. He liked Fred Biletnikoff. He liked John Madden, the head coach. He liked those guys. I don't know why, but he did. He wasn't a Charger fan, that's for sure. But he sure liked a lot of other teams because I don't know if he could relate to them being I don't know, older. George Blanda was an older guy. He was a kicker and all that. But Jim Otto was an absolute beast at center. Can you imagine, guys, Jim Otto today? Whoo! Or he would have wreaked havoc. No doubt about it. Havoc. Mark chimes in on the Jim Otto topic. Says, Mark from Georgia said, Jim Otto was automatic. Absolutely. He was automatic. And he follows up by saying, rest in peace. I agree. Rest in peace. Man, what a career. What an absolute career. Just amazing. And you don't really find a whole lot of offensive linemen, especially centers, that make it to the Hall of Fame. And all of those accolades, let me bring it up again. 12 AFL. Now you got to remember, it was the AFL before it became the NFL and the two merged. So it was the 60s. 12 AFL All-Star / Pro Bowl selections and 10 All-Pro nods. Holy smokes. That's crazy. Crazy, crazy good from a center. And he was, if he's not the best, in my opinion, I think he's the best center I've ever seen play. But if the NFL doesn't rate him as the best, something's wrong. Something's wrong because he's obviously in the Hall of Fame for a reason. Man, what an absolute career. All right. We're going to go to a retirement, to an early season, possible season-ending injury. Oh, yeah. It happened again on the Denver Broncos prior to the season starting. Here it is. Denver Broncos linebacker Drew Sanders suffered a torn Achilles, according to 9 News' Mike Kliss. Sanders tore it in the offseason in his personal workouts. Now, there's nothing wrong with doing your own personal workouts. That's what you should be doing. I mean, you want to stay in shape. You want to make sure that, you're doing what you should be doing. But these injuries are happening way too often. Let me continue. Sean Payton is optimistic, however, says that Sanders will be able to come back towards the end of the season, hopefully. Well, he tore it in March. Well, we're already in May, so that's a couple months removed. He's already had the surgery. It says his surgery went well and he's on the mend to recover. Absolutely. But will he recover in time to come back sometime this season, towards the end of the season? But then again, do you want to rush him? I mean, you had, Aaron Rodgers tear his Achilles. You have Kirk Cousins, tear his Achilles. We don't know how they're going to play. They haven't played yet. Do you rush a guy like a Drew Sanders back into the game, into a, quote, possible playoff run team? We don't know. We don't know how Denver's going to be. And I know we got a rookie quarterback. I'll get into all of that. If you look down below right here, if you look, let me go this way. You look down below right here, it says Broncos, under Bronco Bill, it says Broncos have quarterback competition. So I'm not saying that the Broncos are going to make the playoffs. I would hope so. I hope at least we have a winning season. That'd be a first in 7 years. So I don't know. But do we really want a Drew Sanders to come back if the Broncos are not in a winning season / possible playoff situation? No, I don't. Why? Why rush him back? But if the Broncos are in a winning record situation and have a possibility of making the playoffs, do you take the chance on a Drew Sanders coming back? What if? What if? I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a surgeon. I don't know what it means if a player were to injure an Achilles and come back. At what certain point do they endanger themselves of rupturing again, tearing it again, maybe never walking again on there? Maybe it's totally ripped. And I know medical science can do a whole lot better stuff now than they did even a decade ago. But I don't know what that means. I really don't. I've never torn an Achilles tendon. I don't want to start. But I just know that obviously it's a very lengthy recovery. And I just don't know if I would want a Drew Sanders to come back, even if the Broncos have a possible playoff push. And the reason why I say that is if the Broncos are in a position to make the playoffs and have a winning season, why would you want Drew Sanders back? If the team is already doing well and they put themselves in a situation to make the playoffs or whatever, why would you want to bring him back? Change up that chemistry. Why would you want to do that? I wouldn't. So either way, I say we keep him out. Either way, keep him out, bring him back strong next year, and let's just call it what it is, an unfortunate injury. And it's just one that we have to deal with because of the fact that, he tore it. So even though it's been repaired, even though he's on the mend to come back, I know he wants to play, but at what cost? At what cost? That's my fear. That's my fear. All right, guys, we're going to get in. I have 2 Jackass of the Week. This is the first Jackass of the Week. The second one is the one that's got the disclaimer. All right, here we go with the first Jackass of the Week. And here we go. All right. Last Thursday evening, not yesterday, last week, Thursday evening, 2 Kansas City Chiefs offensive linemen were arrested for possession of marijuana. Now, I know that marijuana is legal in a lot of places. It's legal in a lot of states, but it's not legal by the NFL. Period. Not legal by the NFL. Continue. I'm going to mess up these words. I know of that, but Wanya Morris and Chukwuebuka, that's all I'm going to say, Chukwuebuka Godric were put into custody in Jackson County, Kansas. The 2 players were due in court yesterday. Yes, yesterday, Thursday. The Chiefs told ESPN they were aware of the situation, but had no comment at this time. Of course not. Now, I understand there's a lot of players and a lot of people saying, why not allow marijuana? Why are you detecting marijuana or even screening or testing for marijuana in NFL players? Well, first and foremost, most people know that when you smoke weed, yeah, that's what they call it. When you smoke weed, you become, kind of, hey, man, what's happening, man? Stuff like that. So you're not really at your A game. Okay. So if you're going to smoke weed prior to a game, you're not going to be in your A game, period. And the NFL has a business. They have a product. The product are the players. The product is the team. The product is the city. The product is the revenue. If you step on the NFL's revenue, they're going to fight back. And that's why you can't have drugs or alcohol or anything like that in a player's system at any time when they are employed by the freaking NFL. That's why. I'm not making this up. I'm stating to you what is real, what is legit. And if you have a business and you have employees, and yes, the players are employees of the NFL. If you have employees, you're going to have certain regulations and stipulations what you can and cannot do. Period. You work for them. You get paid by them. They can tell you what you can and can't do. I work at a golf course. I can't just go in there any way, shape, or form. I can't go in there without a collared shirt. I can't go in there dressed unappropriately dressed. I have to go in with the regulations. Why? Because I'm employed by them. I get paid by them, and they make the rules. I may not like them. These guys may not like it either. Hey, man, I'm just going to smoke me a freaking joint, have me a little fun with my player, kind of hanging out. Oh, by the way, this happened at 2 a.m. in the morning. 2 a.m. in the morning. Where are they coming from? Party? It's the off season. Bar? Dinner? Who knows? Didn't say. But it said they were arrested a little after 2 a.m. a.m. Yep. Having a good time. Why did they get pulled over? They didn't say. Didn't say if they busted. Didn't say where they busted them. Didn't say anything yet. It just said what I read you. All I'm saying is if you're employed in any job, there are stipulations and there are rules you have to abide by. You may not like it. You may want to kind of bend the rules a bit. Well, when you go into that gray area and you get too far, bam, that's what happens. That's what happens. So they were doing court yesterday. Don't know what happened. Like I said, the Chiefs organization said they're aware of it. They're not commenting. Of course, they're not going to comment. They're going to keep it in-house. And, that's okay. That's okay. It's fine that you do that because, we don't need to know all the details. We know enough. That's all there is to it. All right. Okay. All right, guys. Here comes the second jackass of the week. This one is tough to bring. And the reason why I say it's tough to bring is because I'm going to put out a warning first, and then I'm going to put out a statement about the chat. Okay. First off, let me say about the chat. You guys can say anything you want in the chat during this Jackass of the Week segment. I, however, am not going to bring up any of those chats because I don't want it to be hurtful, offensive, alarming to anybody that I may read it. Okay, you guys can chime in amongst yourselves. That's all well and good. I'm just letting you know that for this one segment and one segment only, I've never done this before, but I talked to Madungus Creevy and we both agreed this would be the best way to handle it. Okay, there's going to be, the warning is it's going to be sensitive. It could be sensitive to certain people. Okay. It's probably going to be about a 5-10 minute segment. I'm not really going to elaborate on what I think. I don't want to get into that negative side. But it is very prevalent that's happening in society. And it's now rearing its ugly head with a guy who played for the Boston Red Sox. And I am going to get into some details. I'm going to read it for what it is. It's right here. I'm going to read it for what it is. So just be mindful of the fact that there's going to be some explicit comments, or not comments, explicit wording in here that comes from the article. And that's all I'm going to say. All right. All right, here it is. Former University of Florida and Boston Red Sox pitcher was among 27 men arrested in Jacksonville's sheriff office's recent sting targeting men who prey on children. Yeah. All right, guys, here we go. Austin Maddox, 33, had to be tackled by 6 officers during his April 28th arrest. He remains in jail on charges of traveling to meet after using a computer to seduce, solicit, and lure a or more child/children to engage in sexual conduct under the age of 18. He initiated a conversation with an undercover agent posing as a 14-year-old girl. After being told, this is what he said, listen to this. After being told she was 14, his response was this, and I quote, "That's young, baby. I could get in a lot of trouble for that, but you can't drive. So you're going to stay with me all night?" End quote. I am disgusted, absolutely pathetically disgusted at things like this. Absolutely disgusted with things like this. I have a 9, wow, where'd that come from? I have a 7-year-old granddaughter. I can't even begin to imagine the anger I would have somebody like that. This guy had the world on his shoulders. He was a University of Florida top-notch pitcher. He played for the Boston Red Sox, and he has to stoop to this? Now, I know that people have issues, and people have hang-ups, and people have things, they feel demons that they can't seem to get under control. I understand that. What I don't understand is, I guess I understand people have demons, but I guess part of me doesn't understand this. When I see somebody like this or hear something like this, all I want to do is string them up on a high tree branch upside down and use them as a piñata. I know that's harsh. I know that might be inhumane to some people, but that's how I feel. This is absolutely, I don't even know if I have the word to say what this is. This is demonic. This is satanic. This is children, innocent, who look up to adults. I have no use for this guy. I have no use for people like this. And I know that this is not, football related. And I understand that it's not what my show normally is, but man, I can't pass this up. And the reason why I can't pass this up is because this happens all the time. It happens way too often. And when it comes into the sports world, even whether it be baseball or football, hockey, basketball, whatever, when it comes into the sports world, it's even more pathetic, in my opinion. Why do I say more? Not that it's worse, but it's because it reaches young people who look up to you. Hey, that's my favorite baseball player. That's my favorite football player. Oh my gosh, what's he doing? We all do that. I've done that as a fan. I said, oh my gosh, I feel bad for that person. Or I feel bad for, I'm a Cubs fan right here. I'm a Cubs fan. Ben Zobrist, who won the MVP of the, there it is, right back there. The Chicago Cubs World Series championship in 2016. He was MVP. And a few years later, his wife had an affair with their therapist. I know what happens. I felt bad for Ben Zobrist. The guy was amazing. I love the guy. I love the way he played. He won the championship with the Kansas City Royals the year before. But I look at something like this and I'm like, my gosh, I'm done with you. I'm done with you. I don't ever want to hear about you again. Just go away. I hope somebody puts you up on a tree and turns you upside down and beats you like a piñata. Because the first person who should do that would be the father. And I guarantee it wouldn't be anything light. I hated bringing this. I thought about not bringing this, but I had to because I want everybody. This is demonic. This is absolutely pathetic. Sorry to bring it in. Absolutely sorry to bring it in, but it's horrible. It's horrible. And because it happened to a baseball player, which is sports, and that's what this show is about. I didn't bring in anybody else. I could have brought in other people, but they're not sports related. So I brought this one in. I'm treading lightly, but this angers me. It really angers me. It saddens me because this we've come this low. We've come this low. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up by clicking out of the jackass of the week. We'll move on into better stuff. I promise. I'll be right back. Woo! Madungus Trivichan just says, when you told me about this topic, I was terrified. I know you were. You literally say your show is brought with passion, and I got scared. I know you got scared, buddy. But I promise you, I did hold my own. I didn't say what I wanted to say. And I told you last night on the phone that you knew what I wanted to say, but I didn't say it. I respected you. I respected the network. I respected myself. And I withheld a lot of comments. All right. Okay. Listen to this. We're going to get some good stuff now. Listen to this. The topic of the show first is Bo Nix better than Wilson? Well, not going to come from me because I haven't been around to see Bo Nix, in person or whatever, even in OTAs. But here we go. Russell Wilson wasn't what Denver had hoped for when they traded the farm to get him. Last season, much of what he did was either throwing it deep or checking it down to the backs. So Denver parted ways and they drafted Bo Nix at number 12. Nix ran a similar type of offense at Oregon, and Sean Payton has already spoken glowingly about Nix. The team cut Wilson, drafted Nix, which tells me they feel Nix is already a better fit in Denver. It's clear, based on the past 2 seasons, Bo Nix is already a better quarterback at this point in the season. Now, I know it's not a season yet, but at this point in getting into the season. Now, I do have a comment that let me get to. I was going to get to a different one, but let me get that top comment about what Sean Payton said about. I'm getting everything all mixed up. What Sean Payton did say about Bo Nix. Okay, so let's get into that. Okay. Let's get into that right now because it says that Bo Nix is already better than Sean Payton. Well, how do we judge that? How do we know? I mean, we're not there. We're not in person. We don't see it. Okay, so this is what Sean Payton says. And if you look down here on, where is that? Look right here. It says Broncos have quarterback competition. Now, this is twofold, in my opinion. I kind of wonder why Sean Payton is saying this, but then on the flip side, I kind of have an answer. So let me get into it real quick. During OTAs last Thursday, Coach Sean Payton was quick to praise all three quarterbacks. Yeah, we got three. Bo Nix, Jared Stidham, and Zach Wilson. Yeah, we still have Wilson on the team, just not Russell. All right. To praise all three quarterbacks in the competition for the team's starting job. Okay. Why would he have a competition? I've heard from many people say, hey, if you draft a quarterback in the first round, especially in the top 15 or whatever, they have to be a starter. They have to be a starter. Why else would you draft him at that spot? Well, you can draft him at that spot to learn under quarterback that you already have that is better because he's been in the league already. He already knows the system. A la Jared Stidham. He already knows how Sean Payton likes to run things. Zach Wilson? Nope. Bo Nix? Certainly not. They're learning, but are they there yet? Okay? So that's why you have a competition, to see when the cream rises to the top. Who is that guy? Is it Bo Nix? Is it Zach Wilson? Could it be Jared Stidham? We don't know. That's why he says there's a competition. That bothers me in a bit because, like I mentioned, if you draft a quarterback at number 12, wouldn't you think, first and foremost, he's going to start right away? What if he's not ready? You don't throw him to the wolves. No, you protect him. You protect him in a lot of ways. The line, the game plan, all of that. Let me continue. Sean Payton was asked about Bo Nix. Payton replied, and I quote, "He's good. He's farther along than most would be. We're talking about a player who's played 61 games in college. He's extremely smart. He's picked it up quite quickly," end quote. Payton also said, and I quote, "Let's be clear. Nix, Stidham, and Zach Wilson are in full-scale competition for the starting job." That scares me. Now, the reason why I say that scares me is because he said they are in full-scale competition. Is he doing this to motivate the players? Possibly. Why wouldn't you? You're not going to sit there and say, okay, well, we drafted Bo Nix number 12, so he's our starting quarterback. So you guys just, kind of go through the rhythm. No, you call it a competition because first and foremost, you want the best quarterback to be your starting quarterback. Could that be a Bo Nix? Absolutely. It also could be a Stidham or a Zach Wilson. Why couldn't it be? No one knows. That's why there's a competition. What I don't like is sometimes competition can harbor animosity. Bo Nix knows he was drafted number 12 to be the Broncos' heir apparent franchise quarterback. He knows that. He wants that. And he doesn't want it 2025 or 26 or 27. He wants it now. So he has to go out and prove it. What if he gets beat out? What if Stidham performs better? What if Zach Wilson all of a sudden performs better? How's that going to leave a taste in Bo Nix's mouth? Is he going to welcome it and say, okay, hey, I just got to play better? I just have to do my homework. I just got to be this or I got to be that or whatever. I don't know. But sometimes it can have a negative effect. I'm hoping that's not the case, but sometimes it can. Let me continue. Payton was also quick to say, and I quote, "Nothing should be read into who started first at quarterback during OTAs with the starters. All three quarterbacks practiced with the starters," end quote. Okay, so there you go. Who's the leading candidate? Nobody knows. Sean Payton's not talking. That's for dang sure. He ain't saying. Nobody else is saying. None of the media that I've heard is saying that, who has the upper hand. Way too early. We haven't done preseason yet. We have no idea. No idea whatsoever. So, I don't know. I don't know. But that brings me to another topic I'll get into really quick after this. But Dunker Street says, I love how everyone is ranking the Steelers high because they got Wilson and the Broncos low because they lost him. Did no one pay attention last year? Yep. Guess what I'm getting into, Mundungus? Great segue into my next topic. Listen to this, guys. First off, I have to preface this. I have to preface this topic with, for those of you who remember a quarterback that was played for the San Diego Chargers by the name of Ryan Leaf. We all know the guy was a bust, absolute bust out of Washington State. A joke. He got into drugs. He even broke into some pharmacies to steal drugs, was put into prison. He claims he's clean. He claims he's past those demons or whatever. I'm not so sure. Listen to what Ryan Leaf said on a podcast. Listen to this. Former NFL quarterback and Steelers fan Ryan Leaf shared his thoughts about Russell Wilson on the, quote, Up and Adams show with Kay Adams. He said, and I quote, not making this up, guys. I couldn't make this up if I tried. Ryan Leaf said, and I quote, I believe Russell Wilson will maintain the starting job all year, and I even predict that the Steelers have a chance to win the Super Bowl in 2024, end quote. Wrong. Steelers cannot win the Super Bowl in 2024 because the Super Bowl is played in February of the following year. The Chiefs won the Super Bowl in 2024. Yes, I know it's the 2024 season. That's not what he said. Is he smoking some? Is he smoking some stuff again? Has he gone back off the wagon? I don't know. This dude's out there, man. Seriously. First off, he says he predicts that the Steelers have a chance to win the Super Bowl in 2024. No. You should have said 2025. But even then, that would be wrong because the Steelers have no chance. Did he not pay attention, like Mundungus Creed said, to last year with Russell Wilson? Did he not pay any chance? Apparently not. I continue. With Russell Wilson having everything, this is still his thought. With Russell Wilson having everything to play for, I don't see why the Steelers couldn't be a Super Bowl champion. End quote. Really? The Steelers, a Super Bowl champion with Russell Wilson? Ryan, I'm telling you, dude, put the pipe down. Put those freaking meds down, whatever you're doing, because you have totally lost it. Totally freaking lost it. There's no way, no freaking way that the Pittsburgh Steelers make it to the Super Bowl and win it. Haven't they forgotten that the Chiefs are still in the league? Detroit Lions and the NFC are becoming a powerhouse. Have they not looked at those other teams? No? Okay. Ryan, you're in some kind of a fog, some kind of a cloud somewhere, dude. I don't see that happening anytime soon. Anytime soon. That is ridiculous. I mean, just preposterous. I know you're a Steelers fan. You said you're a Steelers fan. I could care less. I'm a Broncos fan. I don't think the Broncos are going to win the Super Bowl this year. No way, shape, or form. I hope they have a winning season. I hope we make the playoffs. Win the Super Bowl? Seriously. I know strange things have happened, and I know a lot of craziness has happened in sports before. I understand that. Pittsburgh Steelers winning the Super Bowl? Dude, slow down. Put the pipe away. Let your head clear. Because you're in some type of deep fog, dude. Wow. Mundungus Creedy follows up, says, Steelers new play calls. Go deep, go get open, pass it, we're running. The That's a good one, man. That's a great one, dude. Go deep, get open, pass it, we're running. Freaking funny, dude. That's classic. That is good. That is Russell Wilson. That is Russell Wilson and the play calling to a T. That's all Sean Payton had to do last year. Hey, Russ, here's the play. Screw it. Do whatever you're gonna do because you're gonna do it anyway. Doesn't make a difference. Doesn't make a difference one bit. All right. Okay. Now listen to this. Sean and I totally believe this. Totally believe. Can you? Okay. You remember remember 2 years ago? No, last year. Okay. Remember last year when Sean Payton went off on Nathaniel Hackett, say he's the worst head coach in the NFL's ever seen, blah, 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 this, that, and the other thing. And then what happens? Yeah, what happened? The New York Jets and Nathaniel Hackett, offensive coordinator, without Aaron Rodgers because he was injured and gone for the year, came into Denver and obviously purposely, but threw egg in Sean Payton's face. No, not literally. It wasn't like a pie in the face or anything. It was a statement. Sean Payton called out Nathaniel Hackett. Nathaniel Hackett, as much as I didn't like the guy as a head coach, pretty much buttoned it up, didn't say anything. And when they came to Denver, they beat the Broncos. And that pissed off Sean Payton big time. Of course it did. He shot his mouth off, and it came back to haunt him, and he ended up having to basically eat his own words, right? Well, did Sean Payton apparently do it again? Well, let me read it. Here it comes. When the Pittsburgh Steelers, led by ousted Russell Wilson, NBC Sports NFL analyst Chris Sims believes there will be some lingering unfriendly feeling in Denver come week 2 of the NFL schedule. Why? That's right. The Steelers are coming to town. Here it is. Sims said, and I quote, "You know Sean Payton's going to want to make a point and say, wait, I'm not going to let the guy that I wasted all this salary cap on come in here and win that game. I know," Sims says this. I'm still quoting him. "I know Sean Payton. He's chippy. He's certainly not going to want that. I also feel Payton will want to not just win the game against Wilson, but, win the game against Wilson and the Steelers. He definitively wants that matchup to bring a closure to a sour ending. He wants a dramatic beatdown of Russell Wilson and the Steelers." End quote. Is that going to happen? I don't know. Sure didn't happen when the Jets came to town. And I'm not saying that the Steelers are better than Jets or the Jets are better than Steelers. What I'm saying is Sean Payton needs to zip the freaking mouth. Don't say a freaking word. But he's saying these things. And it came back and bit the freaking Broncos in the butt last year against the Jets. It better not, in this fan's opinion, had better not come back and bite him again. Because if it does, can you imagine if Russell Wilson came and threw 3 or 4 touchdown passes, was solid in the pocket, didn't get sacked, ran out of the pocket for another 35, 40 yards of the game? How do you think Sean Payton would feel? Well, forget that. How do you think Broncos country would feel? Yeah, we'd be one pissed off puppy. That's for sure. Absolutely. I know I would. And I'm going to be on the Broncos neighborhood when Dungus Creevy when that happens. And I sure hope the heck it doesn't happen. But we had to live through it last year with the Jets debacle, that game against the Jets. I hope it doesn't happen again. And if it does, that's going to tell me that Sean Payton doesn't really understand to keep his motherfucking pie trap closed. He doesn't. Because if it comes back and bites him again, that tells me that's a pattern. And that's an ugly pattern. You cannot throw bulletin board material out there. But he just did. I know it's early, but week 2 comes quick, guys. Week 2 in the NFL comes quick. And these guys don't forget. They don't forget. Now, I know that it wasn't Sean Payton that said it per se, but Chris Sims says he knows Sean Payton well, and he knows that Sean Payton doesn't want to lose to Russell Wilson, and I guarantee you that that's true. He doesn't want to lose to Russell Wilson, and he wants to beat him badly to say, see, that's why we got rid of him, because he can't perform at this level anymore. I just don't want it to come back and bite him in the proverbial keister. Don't do it. Too late now. Too late now. And again, I know that he didn't say it directly, but if Phil Simms feels that way and Phil Simms is putting it out there, Sean Payton didn't come back and rebuff him. He didn't what's the word I'm looking for? He didn't dispute it. No, he didn't. Absolutely did not. Hey, D-Rock is in the chat. What's up, my friend? D-Rock, he says, Big Bill. I say, Big D-Rock. What's happening, my friend? Glad you could show up. Glad you're here. If you missed anything or you just, or you got in late or whatever, you can always go back and watch the show at its conclusion. Really do appreciate it. I've got 2 more topics, guys, and then we'll wrap it up. Please do me a big favor, as always. Hit the subscribe button if you have not. Hit the thumbs up. It's the best way to let others know that you really do appreciate the show. You want others to appreciate it as well and check it out. It costs you nothing, but it benefits the show greatly. Also do it, please, on the MHRT network, as well as my show, Broncos Breakdown, on the YouTube channel. Please subscribe, thumbs up on both. I absolutely appreciate it. The network appreciates it. And it does show that you guys really do appreciate the time and effort that I go into each and every week to bring the topics, some easy, some not so easy to bring, but to bring them as well and to do my due diligence and be here each and every week without any, I'm not making any of this up. All of this is legit. You guys can research it yourself. It's all legit. Really do appreciate it. D-Rock says, will do, my friend. Absolutely. Thank you so much, D-Rock. Appreciate it so much. All right. Last 2 topics of this Friday. And I really do appreciate each and every one of you watching, whether you're in the chat or you're not, you're listening, you're watching, wherever you may be. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Here are the last 2 topics. During training camp, the Broncos will practice with the Green Bay Packers. They will also play in preseason week 2 at Mile High and Power Field. That game is slated for Sunday, August 18th at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. The last time these 2 played each other was last season, week 7, when the Denver Broncos beat the Green Bay Packers 19-17. So that's interesting that the Packers and the Broncos will be scrimmaging, practicing, whatever. That'll be good. It'll be, I would imagine, Jordan Love, Bo Nix, different quarterbacks in there. It'll be fun to watch. It'll be fun to watch. I don't know if that game is going to be televised live on the NFL Network. I know they show every preseason game after it's been played. They replay them throughout the next several days, 3 or 4 days, whatever, on the NFL Network. I'm not sure that it's going to be shown live, but if it's not, you can always catch that. I always go back, I record those games, and then I watch them, later that evening or whatever, and kind of skim through, obviously, the commercials and get to the stuff I want to see and that kind of thing. So that'll be a good one to watch because I like to see how Bo Nix goes against the Packers and how, the Bronco players, the new additions we have and that kind of thing, how they play against the Green Bay Packers. We don't play the Packers this year in the season. We don't play the NFC North We played them, I think, was it last year? Yeah, we played them last year because we played the Lions and the Vikings. I remember. Okay, so we don't play them this year, but we are going to be scrimmaging and having a preseason game against the Green Bay Packers. That game, once again, it's August 18th, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and I'm not sure if it's going to be on the NFL Network. Okay, just throwing that. I don't know. I don't have nothing showing. Rudy's not have a booger. So get out of here. I ain't got nothing showing, man. I ain't got nothing showing. All right. Okay. Last topic, guys. Once again, thanks so much for participating, being in the chat. Your support means the world to me. Absolutely do appreciate it. All right, here we go. Peyton Manning embraces the role as Broncos ambassador. Now, is he fully a Broncos ambassador? Well, I would say he is definitely the face of the Broncos. Whenever you see Peyton Manning, he's got an orange tie, or he's got some type of a Bronco emblem or a pennant or something. But listen to this. This is really cool. And I call this my feel-good story. It's a feel-good story because I love Peyton Manning for one. Super Bowl 50 could have been MVP, although he didn't really. I mean, everybody knows Von Miller destroyed the single-handedly destroyed the Carolina Panthers. So, yeah. But Peyton Manning, very instrumental in the 4 years he was on the Broncos. He loves Denver. He loves Colorado. Let me finish. All right. He says, Peyton Manning says, he goes to the Broncos facility at least 2 to 3 times a week. He said he still lives in the area and very honored to still be a part of the team and the city. He said he goes into the locker rooms. He goes and talks to the guys. He gives them pep talks if they want. He sits down with Sean Payton. They discuss football. They discuss strategy. Sean Payton picks Peyton Manning's brains, things like that on football knowledge. Can you imagine being in a room with Sean Payton and Peyton Manning talking football? Oh my gosh. You talk about brain trust. You talk about just knowledge of the game. They probably forgot more than I'll ever know. That's for dang sure. Guarantee you that. But man, can you imagine? And he goes in the facility. He even commented and said they have some of the best food there. He said that's why he keeps coming back. Hey, whatever brings you back, Peyton. Whatever brings you back. He said his kids are very active in the community and their schools. They love Colorado. They love Denver. They love the greater Denver area. So I'll tell you what, man. Peyton Manning, he's from Tennessee. He played in Indianapolis. But when he calls Denver home and he calls Colorado home, that speaks volumes for the community of the Rocky Mountains, Rocky Mountain cities, Colorado State. That speaks volumes of the Broncos country, how he feels about the organization. He said he's really getting to know the owners, really loves the owners, thinks they're doing a tremendous job. When you got an endorsement by Peyton Manning, that's kind of like putting Peyton Manning's face right on Mount Rushmore. You know what I'm saying? Move over, presidents. We got a new guy here. Yeah. I mean, Peyton Manning, he's funny. He's witty. He's got the Manning cast and all of that. It's hilarious. He's really, really good at what he does. And when Peyton Manning speaks, people listen. And there used to be a commercial back in the day, financial commercial, E.F. Hutton. It said, when E.F. Hutton speaks, people listen. When Peyton Manning speaks, people in football world listen because they know that Peyton Manning knows what he's talking about. But for him to say he's embracing to be an ambassador of the Denver Broncos, that tells me we're in good hands. We are in good hands because Peyton Manning basically has gone and stamped his name on the Denver Broncos organization. I'm not sure that would have happened had the Broncos not be with the new owners that we have, as well as Sean Payton and the way the Broncos organization is moving upward, not level and not downward, but moving upward. And I believe it all started with drafting Bo Nix. And in case you guys have forgotten, Sean Payton, prior to this draft, had never drafted a quarterback in the first round in all the years he was a head coach in New Orleans. Never did. People say it's because he had Drew Brees. That's all well and good, but he still never did it. But he did it in Denver. And I'll tell you what, when you have the endorsement of a Peyton Manning and wanting to be ambassador of the Denver Broncos, that speaks volumes big time. All right. Let's see. D-Rock says, Bill, I don't know if you already talked about it, but how soon will Dulcich get released, traded if he continues to miss games? I did not bring that up. The reason why I didn't bring it up is I already had my topics lined up for today. I didn't do enough research on that. Badungus Creevy brought that news to my attention yesterday. But like I said, I already had the topics lined out, but I will dig into that this coming week. I will do my research on that and my exploratory research, and I will definitely have that for next Friday's show. All right. I apologize, D-Rock, in advance, but I will definitely bring that up next week when I have a little bit more information, what the situation is. Is he injury prone? Is it something that is repetitive? That kind of thing. So stay tuned for next week, D-Rock. I will definitely bring that. But thank you so much for asking. I appreciate it. And I brought it back up. Sorry. And I appreciate it. And thanks again for your interest in that. Like I said, I will bring that up next week. All right. Okay. That's it, guys. That's all I have. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you have not, please do so. I greatly appreciate it. Subscribe on the MHRT channel on YouTube, as well as Broncos Breakdown on YouTube. Please hit the thumbs up on both. Tell your friends, your family, your coworkers, your enemies, doesn't matter. Tell them to please tune in to Broncos Breakdown on Friday, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I greatly appreciate it. I hope each and every one of you had a fantastic week. I hope you guys have a wonderful, safe Memorial Day weekend. This Monday is Memorial Day. Like I mentioned at the beginning, guys, of this show, please pay respect and gratitude, appreciation, and a tip of the hat for all of those men and women who sacrificed the ultimate sacrifice, their lives, as we remember their great service that they did for this country, whether it be firemen, military, ambulance, first responders, police officers, whomever it is that serves this great nation, the United States of America, keeping it protected and helping those that are injured or sick or whatever, hospitals, all of that does everyone better because we have them protecting and serving us. Guys, please remember Memorial Day. Have a fun time. Enjoy your picnics. Enjoy your barbecues. Enjoy your family time. But also remember those who sacrificed, everything they had so that we, as Americans in this great country of the United States of America, we have freedom. That's it, guys. Thanks again so much for being here. I'm going to go down the list real quick for those that were in the chat. It started out with G-Money88. Really appreciate it. Followed by Rudy Torres, my brother-in-law in Vegas, batting second. Mark from Georgia batting third. And then we had Badungus Creevy batting cleanup. Really do appreciate D-Rock coming in fifth. Really do appreciate each and every one of you being in the chat. Absolutely. It's not taken for granted. I never take it for granted, guys. But I do appreciate each and every week you guys taking an hour or so out of your time on a Friday right in front of a weekend you guys want to get to. Thanks again, guys. Really do appreciate it. Until I talk to you and see each and every one of you in the chat next Friday, have a wonderful, safe, blessed holiday weekend this Memorial weekend. We'll talk to you on next Friday, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
Fast lane when I pass in the street, bag of money in the passenger seat. Simcoe's been asking for me on the road from the west to the east. Way up, I might never come down, cause the coast's racking up the flame out. so high, might never come down. So what? This is my lifestyle. Wait a minute.